Parsons, I think, is going to have a run on the Angelicore going into the bus stop.
Oh my God, what a pass. He got it done. Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to round 9 of the GT2 North American Grand Prix GT2 Championship, coming to you live from Macau in China, one of the more, if not the most difficult circuit on the planet, street circuit here in Macau. It is a true test for any driver. But before we get into the nitty-gritty here tonight, let me welcome my broadcast partner here tonight, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome to the show. Brad, do you copy? Well, it looks like Brad can't hear us because he's out doing laps right now, but he is around, and I know he can hear me, but yeah, he's around. But anyway, round 9 here at Macau. It is going to be a true test. This track is.
I am here, Al, my ventrilo. My voice over IP is having a little bit of difficulty. If you can hear me, I wanted to open with the fact that I've got 3 words. Here we go. It's a Macau time, baby.
Yeah, we're about to move over to qualifying now. Let's take a quick look at the track map here tonight. This track, 22 corners, 6.2 kilometers of, well, some might call hell, but, well, we got some time. This session just moved over to qualifying. Let's take a look at the onboard here with Brad doing a hot lap at Macau.
Our onboard lap at Macau now. First corner, left-hand flick, followed by a fast dash down to a very tricky right-hand sweeper. Walls all over the place. Big lift there. Guys will be wanting to get through there in 6th, but they're going to have to watch the walls both on entry and exit. And from here on in, it's all about avoiding the walls. So not too many corner descriptions here needed, really, as the main goal is, once again, just to stay off that darn Armco. There are some places to push around this track, but always have to make judicial use of that throttle. So, series of left-rights coming up here. This is one of the few spots where you can get away with a little extra push for speed, but always mindful again of those barriers. So a nice little right-left-right combination here through some of these corners. Looks like it's slow motion relatively on the replay. However, that is not the case. The walls do come up quickly, and always important to really try to maximize grip and stay on the groove. As you see, we get it a little bit wrong there. Most of the corners around here you actually do have to set up for and turn into a little earlier than you think you otherwise might, and braking can be an issue into some of these corners. If you leave it a little too late, it can sure upset the car, and you want to stay right on the groove at this track when at all possible. So very tight right-hand hairpin here. We have seen quite a few pileups in the past through that corner. And now about to complete our lap here at Macau. Coming up to a right-hander. Have to be careful on these ones. Very easy really to get it wrong, though they look like pretty standard corners you see here. In fact, I do just that. So coming up now to the last corner again. It's a tricky entry. It seems like you can brake a little later than you actually can. Very important to stay on the groove here once again. to be able to maximize your acceleration coming off. That's going to do it for a lap here at Macau. Very tough track. Going to be a fun challenge.
Perfect timing as Eiran Parsons just begins a hot lap here. Ooh! There you go. Pushing a little too much there. Catches the inside wall into, I believe that's turn 2. So he parks it. Andres Prieto now going to be, looks like he's going to be the first to act. Well, maybe not. He's got a car up ahead of him. But tell you what, Prieto has been showing some pace here. He's always had pace here at Macau. Qualified second our last time here, which was back on September 16th of 2013, just over a year ago. But Prieto carrying a bit of weight here tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see how he manages his way around here with all that weight, carrying 70 kilograms of success ballast here tonight. But as we watch Prieto make his way around, Prieto in the Gumpert Apollo. This track leaves a little room for error, as you saw in Brad's replay onboard just a moment ago. Track temperature is 83 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's dry, ideal conditions here for this qualifying session. Looks like he's got one of the 05 Motorsports Ferraris up ahead of him. Looks like that's either David Poole or John Ludden. So we got quite a championship scenario shaping up heading into tonight's event, the penultimate round of the series. This is a 10-round series. But we have the top 3 separated by just 13 points. Alex White currently leading the Drivers' Championship. And Parsons just behind him, followed by David Poole. The Team Championship we'll touch on a little later. But let's take a look at Prieto here as he completes his first lap here at Macau. And we'll see how his time's going to shape up. And he's currently in second. David Poole just ahead of him. Eclipses Prieto by just over a tenth. So nice lap from David Poole. You see Ryan Schleif making his way through that turn 2 sector. Very dangerous corner. I remember last time he ran here, I believe it was Chris Moses. Moses had a horrific accident at that corner involved with another car. Moses was medevaced to the medical center here, but he was okay. So as we watch Ryan Schleif, 6/10 off here in Sector 1. This part of the track, like Brad was saying, it seems very slow watching it, but when you're driving it, it seems like you're doing nothing but turning left, right, and massaging that throttle, and a lot of momentum through here. You can push a little through here, as Brad was saying, but there's just no room for error, really. Take a look at the times here. Alex White has jumped up the provisional pole with a 2:17.661. John Houston was looking racy in practice, so a lot of these guys. Ryan Schleif currently sitting in 4th. Let's run it down here. Houston.
Yeah, well, my voiceover IP looks like it's cleared up here momentarily. I'm not sure if you're talking at the moment, but I just wanted to mention real quickly that, qualifying is one thing. Very important to forget it. We'll try later.
Okay, Brent. All right, so as we watch Matt Taylor quite a bit off, currently in 6th, but you can see right there, right side of that BMW with some significant damage already. So no doubt pushing quite hard there was Matt. And this that last corner he just went through, called Melco, just a complete blind right-hander. Very, very difficult corner for a lot of these guys. But Taylor doesn't look like he's going to improve. Chris Moses currently sitting in 9th, missing his front clip. So that's not how you would usually see the Porsche run around here without the hood. But slight modification for that Porsche here tonight. Trying to get as much air into that engine as possible. Who needs downforce here? So Jaime Moore currently in 11th. Jaime, another guy who's looking quite racy in practice. So looks like he was on an outlap. Lets one of the BMWs by, and this is an issue here as well as traffic in qualifying. But it looks like Jaime Moore is doing a nice job of letting the guys on the lead lap go. That's good to see. So Montgomery Jr., last week's winner, first time GT2 winner last week at Mugello. Quite the win there for Salem. No, it's been a long time coming for him. Currently in 13th and carrying quite a bit of weight here as well, 50 kilograms. Greg Byers. Greg put in a significant amount of practice for this one. And the Mercedes currently in 15th. So Greg was adamant to have guys prepare for this one, as you can tell. Any slight mistake in any of these corners during the race, and it could create a log jam. There's plenty of YouTube clips out there at this track, and just Google, go on YouTube and search up Macau wrecks and Macau crashes. You'll see exactly what we're talking about. So Greg moves up slightly to 13th. Moore, Montgomery Jr., Iggy Chiordia currently in 16th. Let's see Iggy, what he can do here. About to close out a lap. Take a quick look at the lap times. Still David Poole, Alex White, David Poole, and Pareto 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, Iggy's going to bring it into the pits. So Gup Douglas out of the pit lane. Kevin Miller currently in 18th. On and out lap, Kurt Chandler back in 19th. Johnny Lugnut's just ahead of him, currently in 20th. Both these guys on out laps, as is Brian Story. Liquid Lou in the pits. Mike Greatrix in 23rd. A ways off there, 4 seconds off there in Sector 1. Got some work cut out for him. Connor Swain in 24th. He's just started a lap. I should mention the pole time here back when we last ran was a 2:16.7. It was set by Wyatt Gooden in the BMW E92. Mike Trussell 28th. So back out front, Alex White continues to lead the way. Let's see what he does here on his second split. If he's able to improve on his lap time, he is. He's up 10th and a half. Stay on board with him. See what he could better his provisional pole time. BMW is a strong car at this circuit. Very nice through that corner. Keeping it tight. White to the line. Does he improve? He does. Just barely to a 2:17.601. Meanwhile, Eiran Parsons has jumped up to second with the 2:17.689. The top two guys in the championship duking it out here for Paul. David Poole on an outlap in that 4:58. We have Preto here. He's on a flyer. Let's see if he can better his time here. Let's watch him through this second sector.
Yeah, Andre's actually showing a very good time through the second sector. Just a bit off Eiran Parsons there by about 0.2, but of course back a bit there at the line. So Andres Prieto, despite having all that weight, I think has the opportunity to move up here in this qualifying session.
So signs of life from Brad. That's good to hear.
Yeah, for now. Looks stable for now. That will probably change.
Oh, we'll keep our fingers crossed. As Prieto about to cross the line here. Oh, he's way off. So John Luden, David Poole's teammate, he's also on an outlap. Just 12 minutes to go here exactly. Time's quickly winding down, and this is such a long lap time for these guys, over 2 minutes. It doesn't leave much room for error. So you want to set your lap and get back out there as fast as you can. There's a limited amount of laps you can do here in qualifying in such a short period of time. So Ryan Schleif looking good. Ooh, makes some contact with the outside retaining wall. You're going to see a lot of that here tonight. Oh, really slinging that BMW around. Chip on board with Ryan. Ooh, a little more contact. Ooh, we got Hinton up ahead of him. So Ryan about, again, 0.6 off. Joe LaCour has jumped up to the 7th position. So Ian looking strong in that. The other Porsche, it's going to be interesting what their strategy will be here tonight for the race. Ian has been notorious this season for staying out late and either double stitting, taking short fuel fill, or just a different strategy than most races this season. So it's pretty cool to see. But Ian is out on a outlap. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, hard to say what's going to happen here tonight, how the tire wear could affect things. But this is a very long pit lane here, and you know what? If we get the right weather, staying out on track a long time, go over that short fill might not be a bad idea tonight.
So Montgomery Jr. has improved to 10th. Marty Eiran in 11th. Ian Joe LaCour's teammate. Nice slide through turn. I believe that's turn 3. Now I've been looking at track maps for this place, and I've yet to find one with the track, the actual track numbers on there and their description, but with their names. So Chris Moses back in 12th. Chris is a guy who's typically has done pretty well here in qualifying and in the races for the most part, but has had a bit of bad luck here in the last few events. So he's looking to turn that around tonight. Dan Wilkerson now has jumped up to 13th, so Dan looking like he's got that BMW dialed in. I was a bit surprised here to see Jaime Moore back in 14th. See what he does here through the second split, if he can improve his time at all. Got some traffic up ahead. 1.2 seconds off the pace. Back up front, Eiran Parsons now has jumped up to provisional pole, eclipsing Alex White by a 10th.
Oh, you're showing by a tenth. You know, I'm having timing and scoring issues too here, Alf. My event is actually working at the moment. I'll let you know that I'll probably hop out here before the end of qualifying, jump back in, see if I can fix my timing and scoring problem.
Well, what do you see him as right now, Brad?
I show Eiran Parsons in P1, but still with that 217.68, which would not be as good as Alex White's 17.60. And a couple other guys here with no times who I know have set times, so I've got some weird stuff going on. I'll jump out and jump back in.
All right. So as we continue to ride along with Parsons. Looking like a strong lap here for Eiran. See where he ends up. If he's able to get into those 2:16s. He does. Wow. 2:16.4. Incredible lap from Parsons. I mean, he betters his time by 0.8. Holy smokes. So White just started a lap. Go ahead, Brett.
Not too bad for either of those guys. It doesn't really matter where those two guys qualify as long as it's somewhere toward the front. So the race is going to be all important. You want to qualify well, but if you're in the top one or two, you don't have to worry about all the traffic that's going to be coming up here for these guys at the start. So anywhere toward the front, that's good for those two.
Well, it's a huge boost for Parsons if he can get that pole position. That's a bonus point. He's down by 10 here in the championship with 2 rounds to go, so that will be big for him. Any deficit he can make up, he's going to surely take advantage of. So White behind 4/10 in the first sector. Just over 5 minutes to go. We're going to take a look at Prieto. Has yet to start a lap. Luton's in the pits. David Poole has fallen back to 6th. Back up with Alex White. So time quickly winding down. These guys are going to want to get out within the next 30 or so seconds to be sure to get a lap in. And there's always that risk of falling into some lap traffic. So White is way off in that second sector. 1.8, I believe it was, or 1.2. I just yeah, 1.8. Meanwhile, Ryan Schleif. Let's see where he ends his lap. It's like driving through a parking garage in that particular corner. So Ryan, one more corner to go here before he closes out this lap. Looks like a pretty decent time here. He might be able to boost himself up a position or two. To the line? Nope. That was way off. David Poole, he's on a flyer. Poole off by 1.6 seconds. Take another look at the timing here. Let's jump down to Prieto. Prieto has yet to start a lap. He's just over 3 minutes to go. White also on a flyer. He looks like he's putting 2 runs together. Let's check his second sector time here. A little kiss of the wall there. Kiss of death.
You know, it can actually help you a little bit to bang off some of these walls and some corners. It can actually provide a little extra braking for you if you do it right on exit.
Ooh, he's only off by 3/10 here. If he's got a decent last sector, he could pull this out. Looks like the way things shaping up, he's going to be in the 16s. Let's see how he ends this lap. Very nice. Couple more corners to go for White. Brato's just begun his lap. Ooh, White makes some contact with that inside wall. Let's see where he ends up here. Yeah, lost some time.
Looks like he's definitely going to take another lap here. This will be his last lap, and he's going to have the last one, I think, on the board.
John Ludden has jumped up to 4th. He's got some traffic up ahead of him. No doubt that McLaren would be shocked if he wasn't on a flyer. Let's see if... Oh, that's Parsons. Parsons on a flyer as well. So Parsons right behind Prato. This may benefit Prato. Parsons may push Prato to a better lap time here. Ooh, big incident for White. He's done. So we got positions 1, 3, and 4. Parsons pulls out. Ludden right behind Prato. So 3 and 4 right behind one another. Ludden off 1.5, Prato was off 1.1 seconds. Doesn't look like either of these two are going to be able to match White. Schleif's parked it. David Poole about to close out a lap here. See where he ends up. No improvement.
I'm going to try to jump out here. Hopefully I won't pull anybody with me.
Looks like that was a slight mistake there for Ludden. Looks like he's going to lose out a bit. So Brad Maris is going to park it. Come back. So Prato, no improvement. Ludden way off. Don't think Chris is going to get this in from back in 14th. That's going to do it. I think Moses is still out there, but definitely not going to be able to get that one in. So, all things considered, pretty quiet for the most part qualifying. I was expecting a little bit of fireworks here in qualifying, lap traffic, big accidents, but I really didn't see much of that. In fact, I didn't see many guys run into too much traffic as the session is now changing over to qualifying 2. So Brad, if you're out there, it's switched over, so jump on in. But Eiran Parsons with a big pole here tonight, pole position, I should say. Scoring that 1 bonus point, critical for the Drivers' Championship. That brings that gap now down to 9 between him and Alex White. Alex White going to qualify 2nd with a 2:17.2, and then Prato, Ludden, and Ryan Schleif in the top 5. So pretty solid qualifying. Pretty much expected those 3 guys to be up front. A little surprised to see, I thought we might see David Poole a little within the top 5. Joe LaCour with a nice lap. Moses kind of surprised to see him back in 14th. But still, anything can happen here at this race. One little mistake could be terminal for some of these guys. So,
and this is one of the first times this season, Al. You know, we've seen those times really not very close together. Ordinarily, we see quite a packed grid here, but not so much tonight. Those times are pretty far apart.
Yeah, it's a pretty large gap between first and 25th. So, Great Tricks with a 2:23 and Parsons with a 2:16 the pole time. So, certainly Great Tricks way off the pace as heading into tonight's event. But, like I said, anything can happen here, Brad. So it looks like you're back in. You're good to go.
Yeah, good to go on the timing and scoring. The voice over IP ping is still jumping around all over the place, so you may have to handle the majority of duties, Al, tonight. But look forward to hopefully getting that Ventrilo sorted and joining you as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, so keep an eye on whatever you can and jump in whenever. I appreciate it. But if not, I understand. So, well, we got some time here before we head over to the warm-up. Let's take a look at, we're going to talk about the driver standards real quick. GT2, Alex White is leading 133 to Eiran Parsons, up on Eiran Parsons by now 9 points after this session. So Parsons with 124 points. David Poole is in third with 120. Prato in fourth with 100. And Montgomery Jr. in fifth with 99. The team championship is tight as well. 05 Motorsports, that's David Poole and John Ludden. They are leading with 213 points. Here comes the boom. Second, that's Alex White, and I'm drawing a blank, Brad. Matt Taylor. Sorry. They are sitting in second with 198 points. T-Brock Danban GT2 in third with 176 points. So the top three, like, you know, these team championship positions change pretty much race after race. So anything can happen in that. That's not going to be determined until the last race of the season after the 2-hour event from Spa. So pretty tight championship.
It will come down to the wire.
Go ahead,
but
Brad.
I tell you, it will come down to the wire. But T-Brock Danban did not do themselves any favors last week there at Mugello. So it was Eiran Parsons with 13th rather, and those are the only points they got for that event. So 4 points collected at Mugello. They did hurt themselves a bit in this championship, just with a couple events left to go.
Well, speaking of Mugello, I want to thank you, Brad, for filling in for me. I want to apologize to those whoever's watching out there. This has been a tough season for me in terms of broadcasting. I really do apologize. I've tried to fix the problems I've been having, and initially I did fix part of them. I had a couple different problems. One was some network hardware related, and then I did pick up a new video card over the weekend, and that's fixed my hard blue screen crashing issues. So this season has cost me, well, let's not do the numbers here, but it's cost me a pretty penny. So knock on wood, I don't find any other gremlins here tonight, so my wife's gonna kill me. But we're in the warm-up session here, and Brad, yeah, you covered last week's race at Mugello. Great run there from Montgomery Jr. to take his first win. I mean, you saw it firsthand. What was it about that win? How did he manage to beat the big guns there at Mugello?
you know, he just did it with consistency. He didn't make any mistakes, and everybody else had made mistakes around him. And, you know, when he got out front, I was a little curious to see if he was going to have the same type of problems he had at, what was it, Sonoma. Of course, he had fuel issues there, but also he looked a little unstable when he got into the lead. A little nervous, maybe. Didn't see that at all at Mugello. He got out front, and he kept his eyes focused straight ahead, and the other guys behind him, they were racing each other and making mistakes and over driving. Salem did not do that, and he well deserves that win. It was a great job.
Well, I thank you for picking up the slack there, Brad. I'm just going to step away for 1 minute. I got to get a drink. I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, Al's away. I can fill in now because my ping isn't going to be too disastrous. It should come through about at the same time whenever you do happen to get it. So still having troubles with that voice over IP here. But that's okay. Al will just have to do the majority of the work. And it's about time, I think one has to say, as typically this season, as Al mentioned, he's been the one having the problems. Hasn't been so much on my end yet. But tonight's just one of those nights. Hell of a race. Now, I don't know if Al happened to mention this or not, but weather, potentially big factor here at this track. Actually pretty large likelihood that we have some rain here. So wet conditions on this type of track can ultimately lead to quite a bit of carnage. And in the past, on our wet races here, we have seen actually about half the field retire. And it's not really a question of if you make a mistake. More the question is how big of a mistake is it going to be, and how much time are you going to lose because of it. So that's really the key around here. If these guys scrape just a couple of walls per stint, really they're going to be considering it a success over the course of that stint. But of course, it's 2 stints, so that's the question mark about this race. And it doesn't sound like Al's quite bad. Oh, and there goes the ping spiking it. So jumping from about 50 ms here to about 13,000 now and then. So it's going to be a rough night for me, but still in all, I'm very much looking forward to viewing this race. And yeah, I think it was kind of an odd qualifying session as well. Like I say, I expected quite a few guys to be a little closer together than what they are now. You look at a driver like Iggy Shiorda. Now, Iggy, a very fine driver, but his first season here at NAGP, and frankly, to qualify in the 20th position, that's a pretty good spot for Iggy to be at. We don't typically see him that far up the field, so it tells me that these guys may be a little off the pace, or maybe showing an abundance of caution here as they head into this very tough Macau event.
All right, Brad, thank you. I am back.
You better go ahead and handle the rundown on your own, Al, because you never know if I'm going to be able to get in there.
You got it. The warm-up session's about to close out here. And we'll move it on over to the race.
Yeah, all about the start for these guys. I tell you, you know, Eiran Parsons or Alex Wyatt, if they have some type of problem, if they have some coming together, maybe one of them makes a mistake, the other one can't avoid it, and Andres Prieto slips through, he is right back in this championship, and that goes for a few other guys right behind him too.
Oh, he certainly is, and wow, look what the track has got for him there tonight. Damp conditions, looks like it's going to rain, and that's always the problem here at Macau with that high probability. So let's run down the starting order here tonight. So from pole, Eiran Parsons. Starting second will be Alex White. Prieto will be third. John Ludden fourth. Ryan Schleif fifth. David Poole is going to start sixth. Jonathan Cuppet with a nice lap, going to start seventh. Joe LaCour eighth. Last week's winner, Salem Montgomery Jr. is going to start ninth. Matt Taylor in 10th. John Houston 11th. Jaime Moore 12th. Marty Eiran 13th. Chris Moses is going to start in 14th. Dan Wilkerson 15th. Greg Myers 16th. Kevin Miller 17th. Gup Douglas in 18th. Krishna Khalili starting in 19th. Iki Chiordia 20th. Connor Swain 21st. Johnny Lugnuts 22nd. Kurt Chandler 23rd. Brian Story is going to start 24th. Mike Rachix 26th. Mike Trussler 26th. Lou Mascarelli 27th. And Dave Rowley going to bring up the rear in 28th. So you got about 40 seconds to go here, Brad. This track has gone to damp, and it looks like it's going to go wet. Looks like these guys are jumping in and out, see if they can get an idea what this track's going to do to them. Sometimes conditions like these, yeah, you can really see the clouds, the rain coming down. Looks like these guys waiting for the last minute to make that tire choice. It's still damp. We got 3 seconds to go here. We're going to be green from Macau. Eiran Parsons is going to lead the field away. Ooh, great start from Preto. He's going to rock it out into the lead. Wow. What a start from Andres. With 70 kilos in all. Man, what a start. This guy's going to have to be very careful here through this first corner. Looks like most of the field got through okay. Parsons going to have a look on the outside of Preto into one. Preto carrying a lot of speed. He's going to hang on to it. Ooh, we have a big incident there in turn 2. One of the BMWs went off. Montgomery up to 7th. Moses with a great start up to 8th. Looks like the rest of the field getting through okay. That one BMW with that incident. Looks like that was Cuppet. So Cuppet from 7th to 28th. That is a tough break for him. Back out front, Preto maintaining that lead. Luden all over the back of Alex White. Very difficult track to pass at. Ooh, Luden's going to have a look. Thought better of it. Big slide from White. Some contact. Schleif's going to take advantage. Oh, that's one way to do it for Ryan. So bit of a mistake there from Alex White. Ooh, Ryan Schleif has gotten past Alex White. So up 2 spots for Ryan. You can see right away, Preto and Parsons starting to pull away already. Oh! Here, this is what we talked about. Big incident. That's it. Looks like that's White turned around. Oh, we got cars on top of one another. Oh yeah, that's Alex White. There is nothing he can do there, guys. No need to keep going forward. No. There you go, you gotta be patient. Stop. Wait for the policeman to wave you by. There you go, thank you. So, White now back at 28th. He might have a puncture. That is devastating. Okay, got you back, Brad. So it looks like White, with a shaky first lap, had a situation there with Luden and Schleif, and then I'm not sure if he got turned around or if he made another mistake or what, but that is devastating for Alex White and his championship. Ryan Schleif up to 3rd. Now it's the 05 Motorsports. What a break for these two guys for the team championships, running 4th and 5th. Houston up to 6th. Marty Eiran, Kung Fu. Marty and Ian running 7th and 8th. Good job for those guys. Amy Moore up to 9th. Greg Myers in 10th. Gup Douglas filling in for Omar Gomez, running in 11th in that Audi. Nice start for Guppa. Connor Swain now in the points. You got Kreshnik, followed by Lugnuts. Greatrix, after starting from the back, is up to 15th. Brian Story running in 16th. Iggy up to 17th, followed by Trussler. Every car so far with significant damage, aside from the top two. Rally in 19th. Montgomery Jr. back in 20th. Wilkerson to 21st. Mascarelli back in 22nd, followed by Matt Taylor. Matt Taylor got caught up in something. Kevin Miller. Cuppet. White's in the pit lane getting serviced. Chandler's getting out of the pit lane. He got service. And that's it. Looks like Chris Moses is out of this race. I don't see him out there. He is done.
Yeah, interesting. I was watching Alex White on that lap, and you're absolutely right. He did look very shaky. Now, I don't know what happened to allow Andres and Eiran through in the beginning. You may have caught that, but kind of watching him after that, how that pass was made, very shaky start to Alex White.
So Alex White just coming out of the pit lane now is going to go a lap down as the rains come down. Wow.
Oh!
That was scary. Another incident there just after the pits. Track has now gone to dry. That's interesting. As you can hear the rain come down. This is the closest battle on the track right now between Parsons, the top two, Prato and Parsons for the lead.
That battle over fourth is still relatively close. Three drivers battling out here, but
Houston.
a fight for the lead. Exciting.
Yeah, if you want to keep an eye on that battle up front, Brad, I'll jump on board here with John Houston as he's trying to make his way by the 05 tandem. Easier said than done. That's a battle between Poole, Luden, and Ryan Schleif. So Ryan in third. This is the last step of the podium. Man, Houston all over the back of David Poole. This is a situation where these guys have to be spot on, running this tight early in the race. Tension's up. Pressure's on. Any mistake would cost, all four of these guys. And I hear Joe LaCour in the background. He's creeping up on this battle with his teammate Marty Eiran right behind him. So this could be a six-way battle for the podium. You can see the difference right there.
Yeah, track quickly went back to damp as well.
Yeah, that was a bit strange there. The track is now damp again. You got Myers and Douglas. They're fighting tooth and nail. Behind him, Connor Swain with Alex White a lap down. Krishna Khalili in the points, as is Lugnuts and Greatrix. Ooh, Greatrix nearly gets into the back of Johnny. Ryan Story, Iggy. Could this be Iggy's first points?
Both Eiran and Andres hit the wall coming out of turn one. I think Aaron Parsons is going to try to have a...
Yeah, not close enough. Prato's going to hang on to it.
Yeah, I want to interrupt there and try to get you to that, just in case.
John Houston darting back and forth. Trying to get a look. Meanwhile, Joe LaCour has caught up to this battle. Oh, that spray's really starting to come up now. Track remains damp.
This could be a real opportunity for somebody. I think that almost surely a lot of these guys had to start on the slick tires. I don't think there's a lot of moisture out there in the actual start, so
possible opportunity for some of these guys to do something with some strategy.
Well, I was thinking the same thing about Alex White. I know he had to come in for to get service, but you know, if he jumped on it to intermediates, or even took a chance and jumped on wets, just to the way the conditions look like they're going to turn out to be, he might luck out here.
That's a possibility. I am watching the leaders, and they are squirming around quite a bit. Both of them clipping the walls here and there a little bit, and really having some problems laying down the power.
Yeah, Preto doing a good job holding. Ooh, Preto takes it wide. It's going to be side by side. This is going to be, Parsons gets the pass made. So Parsons takes over that lead. After Preto takes it, just took it a little too wide. You see Parsons now rocking it away. Preto's going to touch the wall. But man, did he close up on Parsons. He's going to have a look on the inside. Oh, there's some contact, and Preto takes over the lead. Wow.
I think it really should be one hurdle at a time for Andres Preto, and you know what? Aaron Parsons has a lot of speed here. I don't know that this is really the time and place for Andres to be making this type of stand. Now, I know he has to claw through quite a few drivers to get back into this championship. One of them's taken care of, you know. Try to get the other one at the next track.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right, but you know, he saw an opportunity there and he went for it. Personally, I'm surprised he made it stick. Looking further back, Schleif is still running in third.
Well,
Luton, these two have gap Pool slightly. It's Pool, Houston behind them. It's the Kung Fu Racing duo of Joe LaCour and Eiran. Jaime Moore now has got his hands full. He's got Greg Myers and Gup Douglas doing a great job in that Audi, running in 11th. Further back, you got Connor Swain, and that's a lap car of Alex White. You know, it might be in Swain's best interest just to let White by if he's got the pace. Looks like Jaime Moore made some wall contact there. Oh, it looks like Moore's got a puncture. He does. He's off the pace. That hit gave him a flat. Yep, you can see it. He's having a hard time making his way through. You see the sparks coming off. Oh boy. We got a log jam. Meanwhile, back out front, it's Preto continuing to lead the way here. I should mention, last time we raced here, this race did go 26 laps, and I don't know if you recall, Brad, but I believe there was some wet weather involved there last time.
yeah, looking at the times that they had set, it couldn't have been that bad, but if I recall that there was kind of changeable conditions, sort of like this.
So it looks like Preto's about to come up on some lap traffic already. Looks like that is Mike Greatrix. So Luden has gotten past Ryan Schleif for third. Luden with a big time slide. Looks like the track's drying out again. It's touch and go here for these guys. David Poole continues to run at fifth with Houston behind him. Greg Myers continues. This is a nice battle going on here between Myers and Gup Douglas. He's right along with Gup here as he tries to chase down Greg Myers. Both these guys lap before getting by Jaime Moore, who suffered a puncture after making some contact with the wall. Looks like the Mercedes a little bit better through this part of the track. Meanwhile, Greg Myers is putting together a nice run for himself here tonight. Connor Swain continues to run in 11th. Lugnut's now up into the points in 12th. Brian Story running in 13th, so Story in the points. Iggy running in 14th. Be a big night for Iggy if he could score some points here. So far, so good for him.
Great run.
It's about a second and a half off of Story. So nice job by Iggy. Mike Trusser, meanwhile, up to 15th. So it looks like Trusser might have disconnected. He was looking good in practice. He had some good times showing for himself, but looks like he had some he dropped during qualifying, started from the back, but he's worked his way up to 15th. Montgomery Jr. running in 16th, last week's winner, in the last points-paying position. And further back, you got Matt Taylor and Dan Wilkerson running 17th and 18th. Jonathan Cuppett had some contact on lap 1, running in 19th. He's got Kevin Miller all over his tail. Jaime Moore looks like he's gotten service now. Rejoins in 21st. Behind him, he's got Kreshnik Halili with, it looks like that is Kurt Chandler letting the lead cars pass. So these guys already making their way up through the lap traffic. And Mike Ratrix in 24th. We've had Alex White's running 25th. So we've had a couple retirements.
Tense moments there, actually, trying to get past that lap traffic.
Yeah, that did look a little tense. We did catch a glimpse of that. So Prato coming up on, looks like that's Kreshnik Halili. Luden now has checked out from Ryan Schleif. Luden about to get a lap, put Greatrix a lap down. But meanwhile, the battle for 4th. Ooh, it looks like Houston's made a mistake. He's back in 8th. Let's keep on, watch these guys for a little bit here. As Houston, we got Eiran up in front of him. Joe LaCour trying to make his way past David Poole. Poole all over the back of Ryan Schleif. What a battle. You see some spray there coming up, but looks like Joe LaCour lost some momentum. His teammate's going to have the advantage. It would seem, maybe not. Houston gonna have a look on the inside. Can't get it done. Whoa. Looks like this is where the action is, folks. Ooh, you're in with a little bit of a bobble. Joe LaCour might have given Poole a little love tap. Poole is getting impatient here. You can see him trying to stick his nose in wherever he can. Ryan doing a good job holding these guys off, but... Ooh, Poole with a little contact there. Gonna have a look on the inside here? No, not gonna happen. Ooh, a little wide there for Ryan. Just intense battle here, folks. Approaching the hairpin. Houston had a look on the outside of Marty. Let's see what Poole can do here. Houston with some contact, side by side. Poole might be able to get it done here. He does. Ooh, Joe LaCour having a look as well. Joe LaCour makes the pass stick. Marty gonna have a shot now at Ryan. Oh boy. We got a lap car coming up. Oh my goodness. 3 wide. Oh! Ryan on the outside of Ian. Ian's gonna hang on to it. Ooh, that could be game over for Houston. No. He blasted that wall. Oh, he is lucky not to get a puncture there. Losing some time there to Marty. Marty now all over the back of Ryan. Ryan's really starting to fade here. Not sure if it's the... Ooh, Marty having a look on the inside. Marty with the nice pass. So these guys are making their way through the field. Ian now and Marty 5th and 6th, and that Ryan takes it hard into the wall. This is unbelievable. These guys are really testing the crash structure of these cars.
Take a look at Luden when you get the chance. I think Ooh,
Luden has lost his front clip. So not sure what happened there. He might have, well, it's just speculation.
Looks like my ping's...
Go ahead, Brett.
Looks like my ping's okay. Looks like my ping's... Well, there it goes.
Oh, we hear you all right. Luden missed the pit lane entrance, so he's going to have to make his way around again with that missing front clip.
I was trying to get to him. Now, he had been making up a lot of ground, actually, on Andres Preto and Eiran Parsons. It closed it down within about 12 seconds. Last time I looked up, though, I saw him on timing and scoring, slipping back and missing a front clip.
That's unfortunate for him. That time it looks like we're working lap 10.
Ryan Schleif into the pit.
About 24 minutes into this race, so that pit window is going to start to open up for these guys. As Preto coming up on some lap traffic. Let's hope they make it through those guys without an incident. Look at the conditions. The track is now gone to dry. Track has now gone to dry. is still overcast with the threat of rain. So best lap of the night so far, 2:27.09 by Parsons. Preto's best lap was a 21 flat, but this will tell him what Parsons has. Looks like one of the McLarens dips into the pit lane. Parsons has been held up a bit here by Pareto. There's no doubt Parsons has pace on Andres. Pareto has a run here. Pareto going to defend the inside. That's where you want to be. Very difficult to make that pass on the outside there. Pareto doing a good job of defending that. So now David Poole has jumped up to third. Joe LaCorda fourth, Marty fifth, Houston's back. He's back up to sixth. Luden now makes his way into the pit lane.
Alex White officially out now with suspension damage, Al.
Unbelievable turn of events for him. Greg Myers now has jumped up to seventh. Lugnuts now is running in ninth. There are guys making their way into the pits. Montgomery now up to 10th. Iggy now up to 12th. He's got Matt Taylor all over him. It's like Taylor's going to get this pass made. He does. So Iggy drops back to 12th. Oh, they just left jump load in the pit, so Iggy drops a position there. Now Wilkinson's going to try and go to work on Iggy. He's a couple seconds back. Wilkinson having a strong run here, running in 13th. Cuppett has worked his way back up to 14th after falling to the back of the pack. You got Ryan Schleif now rejoining the race in 15th after pitting. Track remains dry, so no doubt these guys jumping on to slicks once they saw the condition change.
Like Eiran has finally passed Andres here. Now he has a straightaway here to try to get Eiran back. I don't know if he's going to be able to this time.
Sorry, we missed that. Does not look like Preto's going to have the legs this time around, but you know, Preto is very good in the pit, so we may see Preto jump back out in front of Parsons. That's if Parsons really needs to push here, however. And right away he's setting fast sector times and already starting to gap Andres. It might be in Preto's best interest to just dive into the pits at the end of this lap. Come out on slicks and just go for it. Okay, so looking further back, we got David Poole now up to third. Kung Fu Boys continue to run nose to tail. Fourth and fifth. Looks like that's Kurt Chandler. They're about to try to make their way around. Houston remains in sixth. Greg Myers running in seventh. Gup Douglas back to eighth. So I'm not sure what happened to Guppa. He was pretty close to Greg there for a little while, but has fallen back quite a bit. Salem and Johnny now having a nice battle here for 10th. The two Vipers going at it. Prieto is in, so he must have heard my advice. Parsons has stayed out. Prieto has elected to come in. Taking a look at, yeah, Parsons just set his personal best that lap, 2:02.2.
Getting awful dark again out there.
2:20.2, sorry. It is, you're right, and I hear the rain. It has gone back to damp. So these passing showers are really making for some interesting pit options here as these guys come in. Do you go out on slicks again? Do you go on inters? What do you do? Is it going to start raining some more? And I gotta hand it to the Kung Fu guys. They have hung on to the back of David Poole. Joe LaCour up to third after Andres pitted. But these guys are truly having a strong run here tonight. Up to fifth. Prieto now rejoins in sixth. It'll be interesting what tire selection Andres made there. Parsons now, let's see what he decides to do here. If he elects to come into the pits, he does not. He's going to stay out again. He's probably going to wait and see what the weather does here as it continues to rain. Jump on board now with Marty Eiran.
Yeah, very savvy. He's going to take it just as long as he possibly can to have a firm idea of what's going on. I suspect we may actually get a little bit of rain this time. The temperature's come down way too much and the sky's looking...
Yeah, you can really see the spray starting to come up now. Positions 2, 3, and 4 are gonna stay out. He's right on board with Marty Eiran. A bit of a moment there. Joe LaCour having a look. Poole gonna defend the inside. We got a lap car up ahead, and Joe LaCour gets a pass made. Nice job there by Ian. So Ian moves up to the second position. As all three get by Luke. I can't get over how great of a run these guys are putting together. Very strong run from Kung Fu. Track remains damp. Keep an eye on Parsons here. He's still out there putting some laps together. We had a slow lap last time around, 22 flat, and he's going to stay out.
He has no need to come in. Even if something happens and he happens to give up the lead to Andres Prieto, all he can do right now is protect this championship. So all he needs to do is not make a mistake, and he'll stay out long enough to where, assuming it doesn't storm down and he can't possibly drive on the slicks, he'll stay out as long as he can.
So Joe LaCour now starting to drive away slightly from David Poole. Marty now is going to have his hands full trying to get by David. The gap is 40. Oh, as Poole dives into the pit lane. So Poole is in. So that makes it Kung Fu 2 and 3. The gap between Joe LaCour and Ian and Marty is just about 40 seconds. So Parsons truly out in front by a mile. The big scenario here is what the gap is going to be between Parsons and Pareto once Eiran decides to come into the pits. Greg Myers now up to 6th. Greg is staying out. Lugnut's now running in 7th. It looks like Montgomery Jr. may have pitted already. As has, I believe Houston has already pitted. What's Johnny going to do? He's going to stay out. Dan Wilkerson now up to 9th. Jonathan Cuppett. Looks like he has yet to pit. He's staying out.
Now what happened to Iggy? Iggy's showing an 18th here. Should be higher than that, even with stops haven't been completed yet. I think most of them have.
Not sure what happened to Iggy there. There's still time, you know, he's a couple spots off this last points paying position. There's still time for him to make that, make up a few spots. He's got Kurt Chandler just ahead of him. Kurt keeps bashing the wall like he just did. Iggy will find himself up at 17th and not too long.
Yeah, Ryan Schleif finds himself in 19th behind those guys as well, so he'll likely be catching up to them.
So Ryan Schleif, yeah, he's fallen way back after running as high as 3rd there early on. Kevin Miller back in 20th. And Gup Douglas back in 21st. So I gotta wonder, when Gup has pitted, he would have had to have. He was running in 9th. Story was also in the points. He's back in 22nd. And Jaime Moore behind him at 23rd.
Oh, yeah.
Greatrix with some heavy damage to that Corvette. So he's going to have to get that thing serviced. And Lou back in 25th. Alex White out of the race.
Take a look at Andres' times here compared to Eiran's. I tell you, those times are pretty similar right now. I don't think Andres is pulling much of that distance back to Eiran.
Well, I'll tell you what, the track has now gone back to dry. I've never seen the weather like this in my life.
No.
This is very unusual. You know it just wants to start pouring. And there's still time for that. So Parsons, what's he going to do here? Is he going to keep it on track? Yep. Ooh. So Joe LaCour looks like he knows his teammates got pace. He's flashing the lights. He wants to give him the position back. Reto back and forth. The gap, let's see. Myers in 5th. Poole now has rejoined in 6th. He is... he's about 50 seconds off of Reto.
Yeah, right now, good battle brewing here over 10th. Salem Montgomery Jr. and Connor Swain going at it.
Riding on board with Salem. Ooh! Both those guys make contact with the inside wall. I'll tell you what, I mean, big slide there from Salem. It's a lot harder than it looks around here, folks. You see a lot of guys bumping the wall. It really is a challenge to get through here. Clean. I guess if you don't have any damage, you're not pushing hard enough. Watch Salem trying to make his way past Connor. Connor looking pretty strong here in the second stint. Doing a good job holding off Montgomery Jr.
Yeah, he is. Now, I don't know if Krishna Khalili is going to have the same problems with John Luden. Don't know if he'll be able to hold him off as easily, but that battle is going on right behind the two you're watching.
Yeah, so Luden now back in 13th. He had to pit. He's had an accident where he had some damage, had to get his nose front clip replaced. He is back out here looking to make up some ground. In a tussle here with Krishna Khalili. May get a run on him here. That Mercedes is no slouch. Yeah, he's going to have a look on him here. Have a look on the inside. Ooh, he gets it done. So, Luden makes his way past Khalili for 12th. While we were watching that, Salem has made his way past Connor for 10th. Something tells me he got it done in the same corner. So Lugnut's now in 14th. Look up front here. Parsons still has not come in. We have about 15 minutes to go yet in this race. At some point, Parsons is going to have to come in. It's a requirement here. These guys are going to have to pit, but you know, Brad, I know you ran some laps here. I don't know what what the tire wear was like, if you ran enough laps, but as Parsons comes into the pits, but would he be able to double stint?
Not too bad. Yeah, probably. I mean, tire wear is not too bad. Look, the main thing you have to do around this track is just stay off the walls to a certain degree. It almost doesn't matter what the tires do, because you can only push for so much speed anyway, right? So, I mean, you take tires for comfort if it's extremely hot or they're excessively worn, things like that. So, yeah, at this point, I don't think there's any question Aaron Parsons will double stint, though. He doesn't really need to. Like I said, the only thing he has to do is not make a mistake. So if fresh tires make it easier for him not to DNF out of this race, then he should definitely take it.
Yeah, double stint it is. Quick stop from Parsons. He's away.
Yeah, and like I say, I think that's a mistake. I mean, you want the race victory, you want the points, but he had time on hand. So if he takes the tires, he still comes out some 3 seconds ahead of Marty Eiran.
And of course those guys have to pit anyway, so he's not, you know, he doesn't lose anything except a little bit of safety.
Yeah, but his fight was against Prieto. Well, his Prieto stop was some time ago. Prieto now in fourth. Prieto's actually closing up on Jolicoeur and Marty. So that gap between Parsons and Prieto is now 20 seconds after Parsons double stints his tires during his stop.
Ooh, Matt Taylor out with an accident, and that's going to officially do it for Here Comes the Boom. Both those drivers out of this event.
Oh, we got a slew of cars here. David Poole looks like he's trying to make his way around one of the Vipers. That Viper's gone into the pit lane. John Houston, he's got... so John Houston has pitted. He's right behind David Poole with Jaime Moore in between those two guys. So Dan Wilkerson now up to 7th. Not sure if Dan has pitted quite just yet. Oh! Big incident!
Oh!
Big incident between Jaime Moore and John Houston. Jaime Moore is out of the race. Wow. So it looks like it was quick, but looks like Jaime Moore might have bounced off the wall there and kind of slowed a bit. Houston had quite a bit of a momentum and really had no time to react there. Wow. We usually see one of those at least every time we run here, Brad.
Yeah, and no doubt it's actually happened throughout the field multiple times that we simply haven't seen, too.
So Houston looks like he is okay, continuing to make his way around here. Lost quite a bit of time to David Poole after that. But that's allowed Wilkerson to close the gap up slightly on Houston and Jonathan Cuppett now in 8th. I'm not sure if Cuppett has pitted yet or not. But he is just about a second off of Dan Wilkerson.
He has not pitted.
So Cuppett may be looking to double sit as one of the McLarens is into the wall.
Oh! Kevin Miller out.
Salem with a mistake, taking the access road. Now he's back on. He's going to drop a couple spots. Falls back to 11th. Luden and Connor Swain get by. This is a battle here brewing now between Luden and Swain. This isn't going to be an easy pass for John. Alley will defend. Ooh, swinging out to the inside. Not going to get it done there. Too wide through this corner. Not a good idea. Luden's going to power past Connor Swain. Wow, that's impressive. That Aston Martin is a rocket down the straights. Luden gets the pass made, so he is now up to 8th.
Looks like Marty and Ian finally into the pits, Al.
So there's no doubt these two are going to double stint. It's just a matter of getting out ahead of David Poole. If they could do that, that's a big victory for those guys. So Prieto now back in second, just about 25 seconds off of Parsons. So in hindsight, may not have been such a bad idea for Parsons, only because he's got such a gap on Prieto now, he really doesn't have to push, Brett.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's why, just for safety's sake, look, if he feels comfortable with the car and he knows that he's not going to lose a particular corner of the car and end his race, that's the only thing he needs to avoid. Everything else is really secondary.
So Joe
Even the win, really.
So Joe LaCour, with a dynamite stop, gets out well ahead of his teammate Marty, and both those guys out in front of David Poole. So Marty and Ian and Parsons, three guys who double stinted here. So Poole now in fifth. Pit stops have cycled through for the most part. John Houston now in sixth. Cuppet into the pit lane. So,
and as you watch him come in,
go ahead.
Yeah, as you watch him come in, I was just going to say there was a battle brewing here over 10th. Now these guys should get past Cuppet. This should be a battle for 8th and 9th, actually, as Dan Wilkerson and Gregory Myers come around. Actually, I guess they might not get to him in time.
See what Cuppet does here. If he's going to go on the jacks, he's going to lose a position to Ludden, to Swain. He's away.
Yeah, this fight will be very close.
Wilkerson and Greg Myers. Ooh, they beat him out. And Halili's right there as well. So Halili, he may have a run on Cuppet here for 10th. I'll tell you what, great run here for Halili and Greg Myers. Both those guys put in a ton of practice here tonight. For those guys to finish well on the points, it's a good night for them. But Cuppet's going to hang on to that 10th spot. I'm sorry, 11th. So from last to 11th, after starting from 7th. All in all, not so bad. Still got some work cut out for him here, but still a good run for Cuppet. Meanwhile, Greg Myers is all over the back of Wilkerson. This is for 9th. Ooh, ugly moment there. Greg gonna get by okay? He does, he squeezes by. But he has moved up to 9th as Wilkerson had a moment. Cuppet's going to put, Cuppet sliding that thing around. So Cuppet's going to close up on Wilkerson here. Nice battle here with these guys. With Jonathan Cuppet. Just got about 5 minutes to go here.
Yeah, and real quickly, while I can, I do want to give some honorable mention to a couple guys I have been watching. Of course, we've noted a few of them, but in the meantime, also, I think Johnny Lugnut sitting there in 13th deserves some honorable mention. Iggy is back up into the points as well, so really impressed with the runs those guys have made tonight.
Yeah, tough season for Johnny, and it's good to see him running in the points here tonight. Sticking it out. Trussler. I haven't talked much about Trussler, but yeah, he is up into the points as well, so Probably could have finished better, but with all things said, he's in the point, so it's a good night for him. And Montgomery Jr. now in 15th. So Montgomery Jr., we saw him make a bit of mistake there into the access road, but looks like something else might have happened as he's fallen back to 15th. And you said it, Iggy Giordia. Oh! Takes it into the wall! Come on, Iggy. And he just lost that spot to
Oh, no!
Gup. So Gup moves into the final points paying position. Oh, the old broadcaster's curse, Brad.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that next time. Make sure we try to avoid it. But still a lap or two to go here, I think. So you never know where these guys have been dropped.
Yeah, Ryan Schleif now running in 18th. Kurt Chandler in 19th. Great Tricks running in 20th. Ascarelli's running in 21st. And that's it, folks. We got about 30 guys start. And a slew of DNFs here tonight, which isn't all that surprising. Go ahead, Brad.
No, not really. It looks like actually maybe my ping has stabilized a little bit here, which is pretty nice. And I was going to mention, it wasn't so many laps ago, really. We still had like 27 guys running. I'm thinking, hey, this is great. We're actually going to finish a lot of guys in this race. We've seen so much banging and beating off the walls, but yeah, in the end, we did start to have quite a few retirements. So those dings did add up.
So Parsons with a sizable lead over Preto, 34 seconds up. Joe LaCour and Marty running 3rd and 4th. This is going to be a great night for these guys. Strong finish if they can hold on. And David Poole in 5th. So, tough night overall, I would say, for the 05 guys with that incident with Luden. Ooh, as Poole nearly loops it. And Houston takes it into the wall. But, that team championship is going to slide in the favor of T. Brock Dam Bam, it looks like.
Yeah, certainly the team championship there. But you know what? David Poole did not do himself too much damage here tonight. He is going to be hanging right in there with Alex White's retirement. And Andres Preto as well is still going to be hanging around in this championship with a solid chance here in our last event.
As John Luden running here in 7th. Connor Swain with a strong run here tonight in 8th. Greg Myers, Wilkerson, and Cuppet. 9th, 10th, and 11th. Galili in 12th. We talked about Lugnut's strong night. He's running in 13th. Trussler, Salem, and Gup. Last guys in the points.
Yeah, it's been a pretty intriguing race, and really, you know, we didn't see those gaps seriously open up really until, you know, the pit stops completely cycled through. So we had some great battles throughout the field tonight, despite everybody making mistakes. No one made one big enough really to, I mean, a few did, obviously, but still some great racing throughout.
So this looks like it's going to be the last lap of the race as Parsons leads the field around for the final time. So Preto during his second sit did manage to set the fast lap of the race with a 2:19.8. Parsons did improve slightly to 2:20.1. So Preto found some speed, was pushing, and to have the fast lap with all that weight on board is quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is. Again, I think it was just a little bit too aggressive by Andres. I don't know that you needed to be taking those types of risks, particularly with somebody so much faster behind him there early. But in the end, it's going to be no harm, no foul. Aaron Parsons will look to secure this victory, and so it's not going to change anything in the end, but still would like to have seen a little bit more patience there.
But for me, the big story of the night is Marty Eiran and Ian Jolicoeur. These two guys pretty much nose to tail the whole night, working well together as a team, went in the pits together, came out together. This is one big happy family right now.
Well, it's obvious that they had a solid game plan about how they were going to approach this race, and you see the guys toward the top of the sheets here who did have that plan, maybe with the exception of Eiran and Andres. Eiran, Jolicoeur, Poole, Houston, Swain, Myers, all those guys in the top 10 just because they were determined not to get into too much trouble.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, the gap they were able to pull out over David Poole. Well, actually, I take that back. Poole is actually starting to close up a little bit here on Ian, but I don't think there's going to be that much time left for David to make up that final spot. Right on board with Parsons here for the final time. He's going to take the win at Macau. Impressive victory for Eiran Parsons. And he's really excited. That's a big win for him. As Preto looks like he's going to finish second. Poole is really starting to put the pressure on Ian here. We're going to have to keep our eye on that. Something tells me if David gets in any closer, Ian's going to be able to crank it up a little bit. So Preto finishes second.
Oh, Iggy.
Oh boy, what happened?
Maybe crashed after the line? No. Well, it wasn't quite in the points anyway. Sorry, I'll go ahead.
All right. So it looks like, Ian's going to hang on to it. Marty and Jolicoeur are going to finish. Photo finish here, third and fourth. Poole to fifth. Houston's going to finish here in the sixth spot. And John Luden, the last car on the lead lap.
People left.
Eiran Parsons, do you copy?
I do, Al.
Congratulations on a big victory here tonight. What an incredible first stint between you and Preto, with the mixed conditions going to damp, to dry, the threat of rain, and then we saw you double stint there and kind of played out perfectly for you. How was that first stint, especially with Preto? We saw a couple lead changes there a couple times, but once you finally made that pass, you really rocketed away from him.
Yeah, I was just, I had to be cautious. I didn't want to ruin my car, try to get past. So a lot of like half opportunities that I had to back out of. But that was some good intense racing there. And I figured doing the double stint was probably the safer option rather than, because I knew if I pitted and took tyres, I'd probably come out behind Andres. I'd have to do it all over again.
Yeah, and it was touch and go coming into that stop either way, and I was thinking that maybe the safer route would be to go ahead and take the tires because at that point, once Alex White had gone out, it was really just a case of trying to preserve the championship, making sure that nothing happens to you to take the DNF here and take the points into the spa for the next event. But I was wondering how much of that strategy came up to you on the fly in those changeable conditions, if you had a game plan but then changed it there halfway through that race.
Yeah, I only thought of it when the pit stop cycle was coming around. My car was feeling good, tyre wear was good, I had the right tyres for the conditions, and I just kind of figured that would be the safer option, because if I stayed out, I actually had clear track in front of me, and the most dangerous thing on this track is like the traffic and also racing people. So I figured if I stayed out, it was up to me it was me that was in control rather than being up to everything else.
Well, you played your cards perfectly tonight. It was very impressive win, and a nice battle between you and Andres, even though there was a little contact here and there, but it was still made for some great television, and good finish for your teammate as well. So it's going to be strong in both the team and the Drivers' Championship. So congratulations. And what are your thoughts going into Super Pole next week, and your chances overall in the championship, seeing that White's DNF tonight?
I hadn't thought about it until now. I was just thinking about Macau, but with the results tonight, it's going to be a really good tight battle. I think the points will be really close, so it'll be up to us to finish well at Spa.
Well, congratulations, Eiran, on a great night, and good luck next week at Spa.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, Brad.
All right, Brad, there you have it. Pretty impressive victory for Parsons there tonight. Great strategy, great call there late, and gets a win by a pretty big margin over Prato.
Yeah, I think the thing that surprised me most about the win was just how dominant he was in that car. I know that a lot of guys had gotten in a lot of practice for this race, and a little surprised really that guys like John Luden, David Poole, and some of those other guys, even Ryan Schleif, really couldn't even come close to matching the pace in any way, shape, or form. Now, they ran into some traffic and were running close together, slowed them down a bit, but still in all. And, you know, the other thing is, talking about those points a little bit, that team championship now is really tightened up, and it is going to make for some serious fireworks at Spa. The Drivers' Championship as well, but really going over the team points here, where they finished, it's going to be a hell of a battle next week.
Yeah, next week starts the final round in GT2. It's Super Pole for Spa, so next week we'll be here next Monday at 9 for Super Pole qualifying from Spa, followed by the 30-minute sprint race to set the grid for the following week's 2-hour finale. So Super Pole's always a great night of racing here at NAGP, and hope you guys can join us for that. We'll be at Oschersleben in GT1 on Thursday, so join Ken Rodriguez for the broadcast then. Should be a good night of racing there as well. So thanks, Brad, for hanging in there. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys all next week. Have a good night.